Hey, it is May 13th. I'm a day late on these check-ins. Um, it's funny, I don't know why I didn't do one yesterday. Actually, I had woken up early. I think I had to edit a YouTube video and I was prepared to record it. I think the day just kind of got away from me and I wasn't even like super busy or anything. So I apologize, but as I say on all these, you're probably, if you're watching this, it's probably months from when I'm recording it. So who knows if anyone will even see this, but yeah, I'm checking in. It's actually late at night. It's at 10. But yeah, what's been going on the past week? So meal coach stuff. I've been working on some of the back end still. We're trying to coordinate. I mentioned this other team. I've mentioned them a couple of times. We're trying to coordinate with them and actually get them to build on top of our APIs, and we're going to collaborate on some of the back end for data ingestion, which is really cool. So I've been going through and making sure that our API documentation and stuff like that is accessible to them. It's been kind of interesting for me actually because web development, man, sorry, it shook the whole screen. Web development in general is not my forte at all. But it's been good to kind of be making some projects that are totally functioning and scalable and stuff, and lots to learn there. But when it comes to the API documentation, like there's a bunch of stuff that I just really hadn't thought of. I'm used to making APIs and code, but when it comes to like actually like a web API, I mean similar things to consider, but also some differences, and documenting that in a way for someone else to consume versus like just teammates or someone I can just turn to and be like, hey man, like no, just call it this way, that kind of thing. So it's been kind of cool. Still in the early phases there. I'm trying to explore a little bit and see how much I can get automated on that front. So just for a brief background, like a lot of the work I do with the other engineer on this that I'm working with, historically we really like looking at like automated tests and really just having as much as possible feel like we don't have to think about it. We have confidence. And something on my mind right now is like I feel like the API documentation, the way I'm doing it, does not lend itself well to being synchronized to what the code is actually doing. So, for example, in the API documentation, you can say like, returns a 400 code or a whatever, um, and then you can return other codes that you're not documenting. You could maybe never return a 400 code, and like you can still write the documentation that way. So I'm kind of curious to explore if there's different mechanisms for like automating checks on that to enforce it. Um, Ideally it could be inferred with something like code generation or something like that. Maybe we could spit out the API documentation. That might be cool. If something like that doesn't exist, at a minimum, I would just want something like a test case to make sure that I don't have escapes. I don't know what that would look like yet, but that's on my mind. So that's the meal coach stuff. Otherwise, not too much progress on that front. On some of the data recovery stuff that I was doing for a friend, um, I got further. I actually the software I wrote recovered a few extra things that this other tool did not. What's the tool called? Photo rec. Like photo then REC I think is what it's called. Photo recovery. It recovers a ton of files, but we only care about pictures and videos, and so I just did JPEGs to start with, and yeah, like mine recovers a couple of additional ones, but unfortunately, I ended up using some other stuff to look at like orphaned files because my assumption was that the file system was corrupt because there was a directory structure, but all of the folders were empty. Like it seemed like you would have to go out of your way to start blasting away files, but maintain the directory structure. So anyway, does not look like they're orphaned. To be fair, I have not checked to see if there's a backup MFT that might be able to restore that. So that's like one final option. But unfortunately, I think we've kind of got. Maybe it's fortunate to say, I guess. Fortunately, I think we've got as much as we can. So they're happy. That was nice to be able to do that for someone. So I'm happy about it. I got to learn a lot of stuff. uh, More about not on the forensic side of things. Like that's sort of my life before where I'm at right now, like almost a decade doing that. So to go write my own thing to recover deleted pictures is not very difficult. But I basically put together like a highly I would consider highly performant like multi-threaded um, disk carving tool to recover deleted information and um, I just thought it was kind of funny that like, I didn't have access to any of the tools in my previous life, so to speak. I don't really trust the free tools are out there because the company I used to work for, like we literally made the best digital forensic tools in the world. So I know what the best looks like. So when I don't have access to it, I'm like, yeah, these other free tools. I'm like, I just don't buy it. Um, so like I'll do my own because at least I can verify what I'm doing. Hey buddy, you gotta go. It's Loki. He ran in panting really heavily. Um, so yeah, I think some cool stuff there. I might continue on that project. Just on the side, it's kind of cool because it's like I get to explore a lot of benchmarking. Um, I thought there was a lot of interesting stuff about like if you think about the constraints, right? Like if you're trying to read a lot of binary data, you're limited by the disk to read, right? But you have to go through that disk. I'm only talking right now about like the raw bytes across the whole disk, not individual files. Forget encryption, nothing fancy, just to start. You want to be able to process as many bytes as physically possible from that disk as fast as possible. So how do you do that? Well, you're limited by the read speed of the disk. So you need to minimize the number of reads as much as possible. And when you're reading through for file signatures, there's a lot of interesting techniques you can use. And actually, I don't want to say it on the video yet because I want to get it working because I guess the way that I started optimizing for it is like there's different search algorithms you can use for signatures that are very performant. And then when you multi-thread them, like they get pretty crazy. So I was able to do that. I think like, for example, the last optimization I did on one section of the hard drive that I was benchmarking, it went from like 17 seconds down to like 2. So like going multi-threaded is pretty crazy, but I have a couple other ideas that I really want to try out just as a curiosity because like I think they'll be pretty ridiculous for speed. But anyway, I might keep that going and then like the way I write all my software is it's plugin based, so like right now it only does JPEGs, but because it's plugins, like I don't have to change the infrastructure. You just write another plugin for anything else that you want to recover. So I think it's kind of cool. It's just a nice little kind of flashback to my prior days. So it's been kind of fun to write. Um, and I think yeah, I've been putting out a couple of YouTube videos on some of that. And as I come up with different optimizations, I'll probably publish them just because it's really cool to I'm saying cool. I think it's interesting how you define cool might not actually fit the same definition, but yeah, I've been finding it interesting and it's good for content, so I'll keep it that. Otherwise, what else is going on in life? I guess we got another. I like playing like Diablo was one of my favorite video games, so another beta weekend. I'm playing that a little bit. Not going too crazy with it. I did on like the first and a little bit on the second beta weekend, but this is the third one now. I know I know that any time I put into it is like it's all wiped anyway, so it's been I want to, I'm playing it to enjoy it and then with any type of like, role playing game with like a loot grind like there's a grind and I just like I'm not grinding in a beta for nothing. So yeah, just kind of enjoying it and then taking it easy. Um got a smoker up and running today, which is really cool. I've been joking like that's me becoming American, because we moved down from Ontario to Washington here. So, um, got to try that. I made pulled pork today. Turned out pretty good, I think, for the first run. So I'm happy with that. Officially starting my like cut for like a bodybuilding style approach, but for my wedding actually. So I get married in it's what May 13th I said, so in August 5th. So what is that? Two and a half months. it's 10 weeks. Yeah, so I have like a 10-week little cut. So maybe you'll see as my videos are progressing that my face starts to suck in a little bit. That'll be kind of cool. And then after I'll get fat again, of course. That's how it works. But I think I'm actually gonna try to do a bodybuilding show at the beginning of next year. So that'll be another thing. If you're watching my videos, you'll probably, especially my face, you'll see it, right? Like I think I'm 175 pounds right now. You'll probably see in my face coming up, I will be getting down to like maybe sub 160. Getting below 160 for me is pretty light, so we'll see. But my face will definitely get more narrow, and then I'll probably be up over 190 pounds within a few months after that. So you'll see my face get pretty round again, and then all the way back down for a bodybuilding show. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm excited about that. I'm not certainly not a professional, and I don't have plans to be. It's not in the cards for me. I am short, which is really good for bodybuilding, but I don't think I have the genetics for it. I just really enjoy the routine. I enjoy going to the gym, so it's kind of nice to set a little goal like that. What else though? I think that might be it. Yeah, my speaking of weddings, my fiance is at her bachelorette party for the weekend, so been kind of at home with the dogs and doing stuff around the house and keeping them busy. So they kept me busy with the smoker today, or kept me company, sorry, so that was nice. But yeah, otherwise I think that's mostly it. Uh, I have to get a blog post out. I have not done that, so I gotta make sure that I put that in my to-do list this weekend. I actually might write about the forensic stuff. I think that might be kind of cool to do a series on how that's progressed. So that's probably the next topic. But I think that's it. So again, thank you so much for all the support. I hope you get to enjoy a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, and we will see you next week. Take care.